This is Jam, and I'm here this afternoon on behalf of Jennifer Eels and her team, and we're going to be addressing one of the most important aspects when it comes to skincare, and that's the most important product, wearing your sunblock, as you, the normal consumer, would say. Today I want to influence and encourage a mind shift change when it comes to the difference between wearing a sunblock and wearing a sunscreen. But before I go into that, I want to really encourage you and re-educate you on the importance of wearing a daily sunscreen every single day. Now, the reason I'm being so obsessive about this topic, and you're going to see that we're going to be discussing this over the next 3 webisodes, is because there's so much associated with the wearing of a normal sunscreen on a daily basis. The shift I want to encourage today with you is that it's no longer just wearing sunblock to protect you from sun. It's now going to be addressed as daylight protection. The reason I say daylight protection is because when you, the consumer, hears the word sunblock or sunscreen, to you, the most ordinary person on the street, you immediately think and associate the use of a sunscreen only when you're going to the beach or when you're going to be outside all day playing sports. But that's not what it's about anymore. Today I want to educate you on the difference, and let me tell you, it's a very big and a very important difference. The reason we're going to be talking about daylight defense is because when you protect against daylight, whether it's in the middle of summer, whether it's in the middle of winter, like I said, whether you're out on the beach, whether you're out playing sports, or whether you're just going out in the morning to pick up your newspaper from the street, your skin is meeting daylight. What this means is your skin is meeting ultraviolet light. And what can this ultraviolet light do to your skin? Ultraviolet light has the potential to cause premature aging. It definitely can cause skin cancer. It directly contributes to the development of those big brown patches that we call pigmentation. And generally, UV light has the ability to generally wreak havoc on your skin. You should, in general, never go anywhere without your sun protection. Not only do you want to avoid skin cancer, but you also want to avoid as much premature aging as you can and the dreaded pigmentation. So it's not just a health issue in our skincare center when you have UV exposure on your skin. It actually is an appearance issue as well. And that's an indication that the two are directly linked together. Just to tell you a little story on the importance of sunblock or sunscreen, sunblock was actually developed way back when it was actually made for use by the Navy, so sailors could be on the ship and not get sunburned. But this was the interesting thing about what they were doing. Back then we had no idea that there was more than just the burn to worry about when you wore a sunscreen or when you were out in the sun. It was also the UVA that contributed to damage on the skin. However, way back when, and unfortunately today as well, the only thing we concern ourselves with is what happens when our skin burns. The reality is that UVA ray actually has way more destructive effects on the skin. It's way more critical in cancer causing, and it definitely speeds up and contributes to the dreaded premature aging that we're all always worried and concerned about on a daily basis. Now, there's 2 very important factors when it comes to the wearing of sunscreen. And the first thing you need to take into consideration is how much sunscreen. What I'm going to be addressing with you today is obviously the quantity that needs to be applied on a daily basis. But besides the quantity, you, the consumer, needs to know what a sunscreen does on the skin. There's 2 types of sunscreens that most product houses or manufacturers use. The 2 that we at Dermalogica use is called a physical sunscreen and a chemical sunscreen. Now, the only thing you need to know is that both are really, really good to be used on your skin. But just so you have an idea, a chemical sunscreen is obviously the chemical that's put into the cream, and how it works is very similar to a black t-shirt. Think about a black t-shirt worn on a hot day. It absorbs the UV rays and it warms up, and that's exactly what a chemical agent does. It absorbs the UV ray, it converts it into heat energy, and it releases the heat out of the skin. That's very suitable because it gives you UVA, UVB block. A physical sunscreen, on the other hand, is one most of you can identify with. If you remember way back when we used to wear these sunscreens and it used to be that white chalky effect on the skin, that is a physical sunscreen. Now think of a physical sunscreen like a white t-shirt. Wear a white t-shirt on a hot day, it reflects the rays and it has a cooling effect on the skin. And that's exactly how a physical sunscreen works. The difference with our physical sunscreens that we put into our Dermalogica product is that we finely ground it so that it doesn't leave that white look on the skin. When you come in and see Jenny and her team, they will always prescribe a suitable sunscreen according to your skin. So some of our sunscreens are physical in nature, some are chemical in nature, and some of them actually have both physical and chemical to give you overall great protection. How much sunscreen needs to be used is another issue that needs to be addressed. Most consumers tend to think a pea-size amount equal to their moisturizer is more than enough. Unfortunately, that is incorrect. The reality is, and this is a scary reality, you need a full teaspoon of sunscreen for your face and a shot glass for the body. Obviously, that's a ridiculous amount of sunscreen, but obviously a little more than a pea size with reapplication is the key. So if you're at the beach from 6 in the morning till 6 at night, every 2 hours would be the key to reapplication. But on a normal working day, you apply in the morning, you're out in the day, you're in your office, a fair quantity would suffice. And obviously if you're not sweaty, you're showering, you're not washing it off, so it will be sufficient to use throughout the day. Next week, we're going to be looking at how our products are formulated to be prescribed according to your concerns. We are going to be addressing skin cancer. We're going to give you a really interesting guide on how to monitor your own skin so that you're well aware as a consumer. So I look forward to chatting to you next week. I hope this information really helped you, and I'm going to show you a couple more slides which are really interesting.